little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
A post-PGA championship, a couple NBA Game 7s. The Florida Panthers move on past the Toronto Maple Leafs after letting them tie it up in Sunrise in Game 6. Lot to talk about, lot to do, and a lot of parity to be had amongst these professional sports leagues that are in the thick of the postseason now. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo with you. We're live at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach with you for the next 2 hours right here on your radio dial at ESPN 106.3. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. We got Christian Cat helping us behind the glass at the City Place Studios as always. And I myself had a pretty eventful weekend. Mike, how was your weekend?
All right, listen, great. I've waited long enough. Folks, something has come to my attention that Colin did this. It's basically the warm-up to his Ironman that he is going to be doing in Boulder, Colorado, I believe in a month. And Colin, it didn't go good? What happened?
It went pretty well.
Because you told me you did I saw your show preview. First off, I walk in this morning, Mike, you're never going to believe what happened. You're going to have to wait until we get on air. All right, fine. Colin sends me the show preview for today. And listen, if Colin's doing the show preview, told me he wants to do it, that's how you know we got something to talk about today. And in the show preview, there was an ambulance, a gouged foot.
Hold on.
Foot.
You're doing this incorrectly. Hold on.
But you know what I'm saying? Colin, I've waited long enough to hear what happened in this ridiculous before the Ironman. So I'm almost ready to shut this Ironman thing down.
No. So here's what happened. So like Mike said, I did my first triathlon over the weekend. I'm in preparation of a half Ironman. It is in 4 weeks. And I decided to do something called an Olympic triathlon, which is all in all about a little over half of what my half Ironman is going to be. So about 30% of a full. It is a mile swim, it is a 25-mile bike, and it is a 6.2-mile run. Swim, bike, run, in that order. I did it down in Key Biscayne, so south of Miami. It's about an hour and 20, hour 15, 20 away from West Palm. And it was on Sunday morning. It was the swim starts at 6:45 a.m. So what did I do? I'm not staying overnight in Key Biscayne and paying for a hotel. No, I left at 3:45 a.m. to drive down there. I got there around 5:05. There's a check-in at 5:30, the whole thing. So this is my first one ever, and I'm alone on this, so I'm just trying to feel it out, so that's why I allotted myself plenty of time. And my ultimate goal coming out of this was to have some confidence, to build some confidence. It's a big mental game, and also to feel pretty good about my chances in 4 weeks. And then if hopefully come out of it, don't be injured, don't be hurt, and have some confidence going into the big one in a couple weeks. So that was the whole goal. I didn't really care about time. I didn't really care about placing. I just cared about getting it done and feeling good about it. So that's how that started. So I check in. It's pitch dark outside. And I got my bike helmet, and I was supposed to have something called a tri-suit. A tri-suit is something that you probably see bikers wear a lot, or people that do these things. It's like this one piece. It's made for all three, swimming, biking, and running, so you don't have to change. I was supposed to have one in time. I did not. So I was T-shirts and shorting it over the weekend. Let's just say I stuck out like a sore thumb just because I had a T-shirt and shorts on, which is bizarre.
What happened to your wetsuit?
It's not in the mail yet. It didn't come yet. It was supposed to come like 5 days ago. And
you showed everybody in the office.
No, that's a wetsuit. That's a wetsuit. Wetsuit is different. I couldn't even wear the wetsuit because the water was too warm in Florida.
Understood.
So I didn't have that, so I wore my David Robinson T-shirt. I have a David Robinson shirt that has a highlight of his career. It says, "Farewell, adios, amigos, David Robinson, 1987 to 2003.
The Admiral?
And it's formatted like an obituary, but it's just David Robinson's career. I saw it on the shelf at Marshall's, and I had to go get it. So that's where that came from. So I already looked a little strange with that. So here's what happened. So you start, it's sunrise. It's really a cool scene. I only could compare it to, it's like you feel like you're in the Hunger Games. and you're kind of just waiting, and everybody's I was in my like jammers, like a Speedo thing, and I had a swim cap on and my goggles, and I'm waiting at the beach. And you got to go in, and it's a mile ocean swim. And you got to go down to a buoy, come back, the whole thing. So the whole thing, it was shallow. So you had to run out a little bit before you get to the swimming part. They say go. You have a tracker in your foot that tracks your timing. They say go. All right. I run out. I would say about 18, 19. The thing about this story is certain things can go wrong. I would say just about everything that could go wrong went wrong. I run in. I'm about 20 steps from the starting line. I'm about 20 steps from the shoreline. You know, I'm knee deep in water. You're kind of running, like a classic ocean run. And I step on something very sharp, and I gash my right foot open.
Oh,
so that's
my
number one.
God.
So that's number one.
Oh, my God.
I'm in shouting distance of the people behind me that haven't started yet. And foot's cut open. So that's problem number one. All right. So I'm not stopping. We're doing this. All right.
But you're bleeding in open water in the ocean.
Right. It's not bleeding as much as maybe you'd think, but it's bleeding. And I was probably a lure for the sharks because I know it's feeding season in South Florida. Nonetheless, we do the swim. All in all, I know people are doubting my swimming abilities. I swam great. It was easy. It took me 25 minutes to do the mile, which is very fast for me. Felt good. And then I get out of the water, and they do something called transition, which is where you have to go from swimming to the bike. So I had to run on the beach, run on the pavement, run over a field and grass, get to my bike. So the swim goes mostly well other than me having a cut open foot. I get on the thing. I have to put my socks on, T-shirt. I have a bib. I have my helmet, gloves, bike. I'm off and going. It takes me about 4 minutes, which is fine. I'm going. Now, Key Biscayne, for those who have been there, if you're going from Miami or from Key Biscayne over to Miami, you have this bridge. And the bridge goes upward quite a bit. It's almost, I drove over it. I knew it was going to be a problem because this bridge, it's called a climb on a cycle thing. So I had to do this climb. You have to go from Key Biscayne basically to the edge of Miami, turn around, go back and forth. It's about 4.5 miles there and back. It's a 25-mile thing. Do the math. I have to go up and back 3 times, which means I have to do that climb on that bridge 6 times, which was hell. It was brutal. Fast forward, I'm 21 miles into my bike. All the people that are on the $10,000, $12,000 rigs, and I'm on my $200 bike, have passed me. We're getting through it. We're gutting through it. It's going as bad as well as it could. I do my 5th climb. So I'm going towards Miami. I got to do a U-turn and then come back on the same bridge. One more climb, then I'm home free for the run. I'm climbing. It's about a 5-minute climb. And then the good news about it is you have a big decline after where you can kind of just not pedal.
Catch your breath, yeah.
Catch your breath, and you're kind of just riding, and you pick up speed. So I'm going down. My foot hurts, but I have cleats on. I don't know. I don't feel it as much. I'm going down. I'm probably going 25, 30 miles an hour. I'm going fast. I'm going down the bridge, and all of a sudden, my rear tire on my bike explodes.
Oh, my God.
Completely explodes. So I'm thinking, damn it. All right, so I got to pull over to the side of the road. I'm near the end of the bridge, near the end of the climb thing. Now, good news and bad news. Good news. I have a toolkit on my bike that is made for these situations. Bad news. I have no idea how to use this said toolkit on my bike. So I'm trying to self-diagnose it. My rear tire is completely slashed. I don't know what I ran over. It must have been something sharp. And it was completely slashed, completely flat. This thing is not rideable. I'm 4 miles from the transition zone because I'm about as far as you can. I'm near the U-turn area. So I'm thinking, all right, now what? I don't have my phone. Usually there's mechanics somewhere around these places when they race, and I don't know what to do. So, all right, I see a female cop about 150 yards ahead. You know when they close down roads for races, they got the cops hanging out at the intersections. So it's this female cop about 200 yards ahead. I can't fix my bike. This is not going to work without some help. So I roll it down the bridge, and I go to this female cop. I say, excuse me, I'm in part of the race, the whole thing. Can you call the people or call somebody at the beginning at the transition area? Because there's a ton of cops there, the whole thing. Can you call somebody there and tell them to send a mechanic down to help me fix this bike? It shouldn't take long when I got the right people there since I got the tools. Can you do that? She goes, absolutely, no problem. She makes a call on the radio. She said, all right, they're sending somebody, no problem. So we're chatting for about 5-10 minutes. She was with Miami-Dade County Police, whatever it is.
Yep.
And we're chatting, and she was cool, whatever. 5-10 minutes passed. We're waiting. And this bridge is interesting because you can't see the other side of it. It's one of those, like, it's on a horizon because it's so high.
Yep.
It's not that high, but, like, it's high, so you can't see the other side. So there's nobody on this side of the road. It's closed down for the bikes. So all these cyclists are passing me. We're waiting. Eventually, a fire truck with sirens comes over the horizon. So I think, all right, there must be something going on the edge of Miami that they need the fire truck for. Gets closer. The sirens are on. It pulls up next to us, me and this cop in the cop car. And these two firemen are like, what's up? So we heard somebody needs help. And we're like, and I immediately look to the female cop and I go, why the hell did you order a fire truck? I don't need a fire truck. Why'd you order a fire truck? and she's like, I didn't. I don't know why this guy's here either. So I turn to the guys. I'm like, guys, I don't need you to save me out of a tree or a burning building. I need somebody to help me with my rear busted tire on my bike. And they go, oh, you have a busted bike? And I'm like, can any of you guys help me? And they're like, no, we have no idea how to do that. You're on your own. I'm like,
nice.
All right. And then they, for some reason, say, we're going to hang out here, though. We don't really want to be over there. We're going to hang out here. I'm like, why? Like, why are you guys here? I don't understand. Like, why are you guys hanging out here? So they're hanging out with us. So it's now me, the cop, the two firemen, and the fire truck, and the cop car. And we're hanging out on the side of the road. I tell her again, can you call one more time and make it abundantly clear that we need a bike mechanic and not a fire truck? She goes, yes. I literally hear her. She's like, hey, bike cyclist issue. We need a bike mechanic, yada, yada, yada. These races are supposed to have, I saw it at the transition. The bike people were there. So I'm like, this shouldn't take this long. We're only 4 miles away. And he literally hears somebody radio back. Yep, our bad. We're sending somebody now. So we're waiting. I'm kind of just like talking to these firemen and this cop about, how this is a mess and the whole thing. I've probably lost 15, 20 minutes here. Easy. 15, I would say. So we're waiting another 5 or so minutes. And then I look over the horizon again, and where there's no cars, there's a pickup truck. All right, good. This is good news.
Right, good sign.
This looks like
good
a mechanic.
Sign.
This looks like somebody who is a mechanic who needed to drive over to me. Great. So this pickup truck, which has like a couple hazard lights, pulls up next to us, and we're at the bottom of this bridge in Key Biscayne towards Miami. And this truck comes up, and it's some probably, I would say, 55 to 60-year-old guy driving, nobody else in the car. And it's a truck. It's a pickup truck, so it has the full truck bed. And he goes, what's up, guys? And I go, are you the bike guy? And he goes, no, I'm Ralph. I'm picking up all the cones and the fencing because we got to open up the road soon. And I turn to the female cop again. I'm like, what? Who did you call? And so I'm like, wait, dude, I got a bike issue. We called somebody to help me with my bike thing. And that's the whole thing. He goes, your bike? What's wrong with your bike? I'm like, my rear tire is destroyed. Do you know how to fix a bike? And he goes, oh, do you have tools? I'm like, yes, I got tools. So I'm thinking this guy can help me because he asked if I had tools. I'm like, yes, I got tools right here. And he goes, I have no idea how to use them. You're on your own there. I don't know what to do. I'm like, then why'd you ask about why'd you ask about the tools? Why'd you ask about the tools, Ralph? So it's now all of a sudden it's me, Ralph, female cop, two firefighters hanging out by the side of the road. It's 92 degrees out and sunny on a Sunday morning. And I'm like, all right, now what? And so Ralph's saying, listen, because now I'm getting nervous because the cutoff time is coming. And this is not like an Ironman where it's open all day. You could operate your own pace. You got to operate fast because this is a major road that they're closed down for in the morning. Yeah. And I was going, I had plenty fine speed, but I've lost 20, 25 minutes here. And so Ralph was like, listen, dude, here's the thing. You're 21 miles in. You got to get back. How about you just put the bike in the trunk? I'll drive you to the transition area, and you could do it there, figure out your bike later, and start your run. I turned to the female cop. She agreed. I'm like, all right, this is probably cut my losses. The DNF on the bike is not the biggest deal in the world to me. I need to start the run. So I'm like, all right. So I put the bike in the trunk of the car, and he's got one of those, those like concert fencing that people have like portably. He's picking up those. Yep. And there's one that's like a quarter mile, whatever. So he has one in the trunk. I bungee my bike to it. And then me with my gloves, my cleats, and my bike helmet still on, I get in the passenger seat with Ralph. Ralph immediately starts driving in the wrong direction. And I go, Ralph, where are you going? Ralph, where are we going? The transition zone is the other direction. And he goes, dude, we got to clean up the rest of the course and open up the road. I'm like, Ralph,
God.
who is we? I thought you were on my team here. What are you talking about? So Ralph goes, all right, we just got to do this. So we drive another quarter mile down to the U-turn area where they have a couple fences and the cones. And Ralph has no pep in his step. I can't blame him, but he's got he's got no sense of urgency whatsoever. So Ralph's taking his sweet ass time. I'm like, I got to help him. So I get out with Ralph, and imagine this. A guy with a bib, the helmet, the gloves, and the cleats, picking up the fence and putting it in the trunk of the car like I'm cleaning up the race, like I'm a volunteer. And I'm cleaning up the race with Ralph. We finally do it. Takes another 3, 4, 5 minutes. We get back in the car. We start heading in the right direction. I'm already annoyed, but I'm almost laughing because this is hilarious. So we drive. Ralph, for some reason, wants to stop at every single intersection to tell the cop at the intersection that it's all clear. We have the last cyclist. The road's going to be open in a couple minutes. He has to dead stop the car for like 30 seconds at a time.
Dude,
Hold on. I know it's standard. First of all, they have radios. Second off, by the third one, I'm like, Ralph, we're killing so much time. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to slow down just slow enough for a drive-by. I'm going to lower the window, and I'm going to drive-by yell what we're trying to illustrate to each cop. We do that for the remainder, probably 2 or 3 cops. It was easy. We're becoming a tandem, me and Ralph. So me and Ralph are doing this. I'm letting everybody know, hey, we're good. We got everything picked up. Open up the roads in a couple minutes. We finally get to the guy who's in last place on the bike. And the guy in last place is taking forever. He's on a mountain bike, the whole thing. Ralph won't go ahead of him. We're probably a half mile from the transition period.
God.
I'm like, Ralph, I promise you this guy's going to make it. You got to help me get to the transition period. I feel like I'm missing this. And Ralph's like, sorry, we gotta wait till he's done the whole thing. So we wait till he's done. We drive. Now I get out. We're at this field. Transition period's right there. The area. It's like a big square with all your bike racks and the whole thing. And I realized that my bike is buried underneath about 30 fencings and cones in the trunk of this car. Oh. So I'm in the trunk of this car with my cleats on, deloading this truck with Ralph. Again, like I'm a volunteer I paid to be here. Like I'm going to volunteer at this event. I'm deloading. I get my bike. I give Ralph a handshake. Thank you, Ralph. And I move on. Now, the one thing is I'm very lucky that I didn't wipe out on the bike when my rear tire busted. So I'm counting my blessings here. Point is, I take my bike to the transition zone. Now, they track this, how fast you do a transition. I did this transition in like 58 seconds, which was like the 8th fastest out of like 300 people. That's how much of an urgency I was in.
Nice.
So I do it, put my running shoes on. I put on a headband, a little sip of water. I take off my biking gloves, and away I go. Now, I didn't realize until I started running that I still have a hole in my foot, and I have bled through my sock.
God.
I'm sitting, I'm like, all right, this is not good, but I got to gut this out. And this race, the running part, is on a boardwalk alongside a beach in Key Biscayne and on Crandon Park, and it's got no shade. It's got no cover, no cloud cover. It's like 91 degrees and sunny, and it's humid as hell. This is brutal, and it's getting hotter by the minute because it's like 10:30 in the morning. So you got to go down to an area, you got to go back, and that's 2 miles, and you got to do that 3 times for my distance. So I go down, I come back, and on my second lap, where I still got 2 more to go, everybody in the race who had finished is doing the awards ceremony with the podium people in the field. And I'm getting annoyed. I'm like, screw you guys. You guys are doing the award ceremony, and I'm not even close to done yet. So I'm gutting out this run. I eventually finish it. There's basically nobody near the finish line other than a couple handful of people. I get my medal. I get my foot bandaged up by an EMT. And then I get my bike, which is slashed. I throw it in my trunk, and I drive home. I drive right to my bike guy because I'm like, I'm getting this done. This is annoying. I drive an hour 15 back to West Palm. I go right to my bike shop, which was opening at 12. And me and the bike guy and his wife who run the place, great people. I tell them the story. Hey, this happened to my bike. And he goes, you need to learn this. Here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to charge you, but you have to fix, deassemble, and reassemble this yourself. It was the right thing to do. I was in no mood to do this at all. So I spent the next 2 hours disassembling my bike, fixing my tires, and then reassembling my tire. I still have a hole in my foot. and reassembling the tires on my bike. I ended up doing it. I got new tires. We're all set. I learned a lot from it, but that's what happened. I cleaned up the race after all the cyclists. I did not finish the bike.
Hold on.
And then I survived everything else.
I have all the spark notes here. Swim, 20 steps in from shore, gashes foot. But swim somehow went good, even though he was a luring anchor for sharks. Bike, good transition. 4-minute change on bike. Bridge was issue. Big climb. Final climb was going 30 miles per hour. Rear tire explodes. Toolkit, no idea how to use it. 4 miles from transition point. Female cop, bike's busted. Call someone to send help for bike. Fire truck is seen over horizon. Pulls up next to Colin. Fireman says, who needs help? Confusion. Need bike fixed. I don't have a heart attack. Pickup truck next. Comes its way over the horizon. A 55, 60-year-old named Ralph says, what's up, guys? I'm picking up cones. Ralph, are you here to fix the bike? What bike? Do you have a toolkit? I have no idea how to use the toolkit. Ralph starts driving Colin in the wrong direction after Colin DNFs the bike race, tells Colin needs to clean up course. Colin cleans up course with Ralph. Bike is under cones and fence. Colin helps Ralph unload cones, bike, and fence. The transition point from the bike to the run was 58 seconds. Onto the run. Colin forgot there was a hole in his foot and it's bleeding through his sock. Somehow forgot about that. Guts out the run during the award ceremony. Very frustrated that the award ceremony is going on while he's doing it. Colin gets medal, fixes his foot from EMT. Bike guy looks at bike and makes Colin fix it himself. Do I have everything?
That's about it.
That's rough, pal.
I got to be
honest.
That's and I got back at 2:15 in the afternoon.
Colin, I got to be honest. That's pretty rough, dude. Now, do you want to know what the funniest part of this whole story is?
What's that?
You running for the first damn event and slashing your foot wide open. Not getting it fixed and bleeding in the ocean and are a lure for sharks during feeding season, not only for yourself, but for everybody else around you.
Right.
Kyle, bad look, mate.
Hold on.
Bad
what
look.
am I supposed to do?
I told you.
There's no band. You can't
look,
bandage it on the shoreline and then get back in.
I guess, but bad look. And then number two, I told you that damn bike. Dude, you are...
This is less about the bike. It was all the tires. It was the tires.
Dude, regardless, that rig is not street legal. You should not be riding that thing for 26 miles. I am impressed, though, that you only had 4 miles left and you felt pretty good, right? You felt all right on the bike.
I was going to finish it.
You felt all right on the bike.
The thing is, I was basically at the end.
And listen, I apologize if your good buddy Ralph is listening. That guy sounded like a nitwit.
No, he was.
Did he not?
He was a nice man.
Did he not, though?
He was a nice man.
I mean, my God.
I can't expect him to help me the whole way. He was doing his job, and I was basically a hitchhiker in this scenario.
What were they? They sent you two people. You asked for a mechanic.
That's part I blame the race for. There's no bike. Usually on these races, they have bike like 3 or 4 of them, and it's only a 4-mile course. It's not that hard to have 3 of them hang out.
What's it? Where were you, Skowhegan? What's this city?
Key Biscayne.
Key Biscayne,
Mike. It's right next to Miami.
Okay,
all right. Right next to Miami.
All right. Well, Key Biscayne's got a lot of work to do with mechanics and whatnot. I cannot believe that they sent 2 firemen. They sent you a fire truck.
What was there?
Truck. Was there a fire?
I was so.
Car was on
the
fire?
The sirens were on.
Oh my God!
And I turned to her. I'm like, "Why'd you order a fire truck?" Like in genuine confusion. And she goes, "I didn't order a fire truck. I didn't."
My God!
Oh my God!
Confusion. Need bike fixed. Don't have a heart attack.
Because usually they have mechanics on these roads that help people and are like pros, so they can get this done in minutes. Their whole thing. That's their thing. This is like, a local triathlon. So it's just luck of the draw that after, and you know what? Yes, can I be blamed because I didn't know how to completely do it? Absolutely. But it's one of those things, I think, it's like changing a tire in real life. You have to be very proactive to know how to do it and before it happens to you.
Yep.
Once it happens to you, then you're going to know it forever.
And another thing, dude, how bad is the hole in your foot?
It's all right.
What do you mean?
It hurts when I walk, but it's fine. So here's the.
Do you need stitches?
No, I don't think so. No.
What'd you hit? A piece of coral?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That's the thing.
Shell?
That's just bad luck. I have no idea.
Then that's the funniest part about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is the first thing. The
18
first
steps in, they're like, this is not your day. This is not
just
your day.
crunch.
This is not your day. That's just bad. Now, here's the good thing. So you got to turn a negative into a positive here. Because the whole point of me doing this was to warm up, number one. Number two, to get a feel for this. If it all went perfect, I almost didn't get anything out of it.
I just calling my notes. 5:05, check-in 5:30. Need confidence for Ironman. Swim 20 steps from shore, gash foot open.
Felt good, too, before that.
20 steps from shore, gash foot open. And I even underlined it.
Yeah. So the thing is, you got to turn a negative into a positive. If it went perfect, I almost didn't get anything out of it.
Now, Kyle, I'll tell you what, your transitions were solid.
Yeah, transitions were good.
4-minute change.
No, the 58-second
well, yeah,
one was absurd.
Unheard of. But at that point, you were ready to strangle Ralph, and you had adrenaline flowing.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, Ralph's shtick, his shtick was letting everybody know I cleared the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he
Ralph,
cleared.
Tell one
all clear,
cop,
brother.
One cop can tell the other cops.
No,
all right?
he was stopping every half inch. We're all clear, brother.
Hey, you mind putting in the radio that after this pickup truck, we're all good on the roads? I got you. How easy would that have been, Ralph?
Colin, I know you're not like Seinfeld guy, but legitimately a Seinfeld episode. Coming over the overpass of the bridge, a fire truck. Who needs help? 15 minutes goes by. She radios it in. You hear Ralph comes by, pickup truck.
So it's me, Ralph, the two firemen, and there's like 3 first responders, me and Ralph.
The Seinfeld episode, the punchline joke is, do you have a toolkit? Yeah, I got a toolkit. Do you know how to use it? No. That's the Seinfeld episode.
Ralph, why are you asking if I have tools?
Yes. That's the comedy part of it oh yeah. Do you have a toolkit? Yeah, do you know how to fix it? No.
Well, it's nice that you have it, but I don't know how to help you with that.
Colin, what an adventure. Fair play to you.
No, listen, bystander effect is real. No bystanders decided to, this guy needs a guardian angel. Nobody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But still, like you told me they have mechanics there. Like it shouldn't have been that hard. It should not have been that hard.
Right. And it's only a 4-mile track.
Now, I am very worried about that bike still. That bike guy, and listen, I know
No, hold on. This was like...
Your bike guy, time out. Your bike guy and his wife sound like great people. Kyle, you got to get a new bike made.
After the half, that bike is crossing the finish line. That bike is crossing the finish line.
Dude, what happens when the front tire explodes?
I know how to fix it now.
Do you have a spare tire?
No.
Then how are you going to fix it?
You fix it. Here's what you do. So you either got to patch it and then blow it up and then just survive with it. That's short term. Or you could actually replace the tube, but you got to have an extra tube on you. I don't, but some people do on race day. So we'll see how that goes.
Can it fit in the toolkit?
This is the bad luck of it. I've ridden that bike. I did the math. About 370 miles. And that was the first time that's happened. And it happened on a random highway.
Now, let me ask you this. In Boulder, do you know your terrain? No. Is there a bridge that's 15,000 climbs? Or are you going to have to do a climb up?
It's a 2,500-foot elevation throughout the ride, which is a lot.
By the way, you're tan. I mean, my God, you got some color.
I was hanging out on the side of the road. You get some color that way.
This kid got some color this weekend, man.
Listen, it can't get, other than a major injury, I don't think a race can get worse than that. And other than if I pooped my pants on the run, that would have been the icing on the cake.
Correct.
But
how'd you do food-wise, by the way?
Fine. Fruit snacks.
Okay.
Fruit snacks. Fruit snacks are the new. They got called up. No more goose.
No, and gummy bears, I thought too, right?
Yeah, but I got fruit snacks. You just buy a little box and you get like 30 pouches in it, so it's easy.
Fair.
But they got called up to the majors. How bad is that? That is as bad as it gets.
Kyle, that's as bad as it gets. Did you tell your family? Did you tell your old man?
Yeah, my dad said, I called my dad. My mother was like, playing nervous mother routine, but she laughed about it because it's a funny story. My dad was like, I don't know who you think you are, what you think you're trying to do, trying to prove to people. Like, he's like, you got this daredevil challenge the world mentality, and you're going to get yourself killed.
He got angry with you. Yeah, man.
He was yelling at me.
I thought so.
Quite a bit.
I thought so, man.
He's like, go hit a 6-foot putt and then talk to me. And I'm like, whatever, man. Like, get out of here.
He's worried about you. And honestly, Colin, I told you, I started this segment. I'm about 5 minutes.
No,
Christian,
we're doing this.
I'm about 10 minutes away from shutting this Iron Man down.
Here's
dude.
the kicker. Here's
shutting
the end of the story.
Down.
Here's the end of the story. You know what they say about car accidents? How it's important to get the person that was in the accident behind the wheel like the next day. Don't even dwell on it. Don't like develop that phobia of cars. Get back in the car the next day if you can and start driving. It's like one of those things. I don't know if people say that, but that's just what I always heard growing up. This morning, 30-mile ride. That was a get-right ride. But needed that in the worst
You were
way.
supposed to take Mondays off, I thought.
Yeah, I needed to get right ride. I needed to get back in the car.
Kyle,
The metaphorical car. I needed to get back in the car.
your dad might be right, man. You think you're Superman.
No,
dude.
I do not. I need to get back in the car.
Doggy might be
I need
onto
to get back.
something,
Now,
dude.
I did it indoors, so it's kind of cheating. But this is going to be a big bike week for me.
All right, fair enough.
This is what I needed.
Fair enough.
That was a get-right bike. That was a get-right bike ride. That's what I needed.
But yeah, I'm going to save the Spark Notes for you first, because I'm going to save these Spark Notes, and then after the full the real thing, we'll compare.
Now, I
We'll
casted
compare.
my doubts during this run. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this for 26.2? How the hell am I going to do this? But then I literally thought in the moment, I'm like, you can't let this discourage me because everything has went wrong. So
Be all right. The running part's not
you
in it.
live and you learn. That is it.
I am worried about the gash on your foot, but
Right. I put some Neosport
is it
on
stitches? You didn't need
No,
stitches?
no, it's not. It's not. It's I don't know. Yay big. I don't know.
It's big, Kyle.
It's not like I wasn't like bleeding profusely. I would have bled out if I was in the
deep?
water. It's not.
Is it deep?
No, but it's a flesh wound that is bleeding, but it wasn't bleeding a ton. Like I would bleed out. It's not that bad. It's like a cut.
This is a mere flesh wound.
It's a cut. It's a cut. It was a big cut, but it's a cut more than an actual I don't know. It's not an artery.
All right, well, this is phase 1 of your half Ironman, and you arguably failed.
Yep, didn't go well. That was life. That didn't go well. I would give that a D or a C minus affair. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, 888-760-3776, the Baptist Health Hotline to get into the program. If you've been in a car accident, truck accident, bike accident, any accident of any kind, and you need help, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they fight for you. Boy, I could have used them yesterday. I don't think they were available on such short notice on a Sunday like that. But I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. On the flip side of things, the NBA, now you're going to have 3 teams in the conference finals that have never won a championship. And you got the other team being the Knicks, who haven't won a championship in 52 years. We'll get into that. Parity. Is it almost acting to a fault? Does the NBA have too much parity? We'll answer that question on the flip side of things. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Introducing DQ Grill and Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill and Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Yingling Traditional Lager. a beer that, like true legends, stands the test of time. Brewed by the same family for nearly 200 years, it's a crisp amber lager with a bold, smooth flavor that's perfect for game day. Whether you're cheering from the stands or watching from your favorite bar, Yingling is the taste of tradition. Yingling, legends stand the test of time.
Sabado Sips is your new Saturday pregame ritual at Lone Depot Park. Starting 2 hours before most Marlins Saturday home games, head to the Bullpen Bar and Grill for rotating drink festivals featuring tropical cocktails, craft beer, and more. Try new drinks, vibe to the beats, then stay for the action as the Marlins take the field. From Rum Rumba to Oktoberfest, every Saturday's a party. Full schedule and tickets at marlins.com/Sabado Sips.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Does the NBA have too much of a parity problem? Do they have too much parity? Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain? Need to see an expert in the field? Well, Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Lastly, Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices located right here in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. Now you're going to have an NBA Final Four where you're going to have 3 teams, 3 franchises who have never won a championship, and then the Knicks, who are in desperate need, that city is in desperate need of another title. who have not won since 1973, and the only other time was 1970, so they won 2 right there in the 70s, and then they haven't won since. This is going to be a first-time champion in a long time, and it seems like the reactions are mixed because now you're going to have a 7th champion in 7 years, which is the first time in NBA history that has ever happened. Here's a stat for you. From 1984 to 2014, a 30-year period, only 8 teams, 8 franchises won championships. Now this year, from 2014 to 2025, in that 11-year period comparatively to 30, there will be 8 different teams that win championships. There you go. The NBA wanted parity. Some people wanted parity. You got it. Is that a good thing?
I think dynasties are always good. I'm on the other side of this. I think dynasties and storylines, and as you call it, players chasing immortality is good for the league. Now, this is kind of how, before I finish this answer, I want to tell you how I've kind of separated each team. I'm interested to hear what you think. The Knicks, in my personal opinion, I think the NBA wants the Knicks. It's the New York market. They haven't won in God only knows how long. Knicks fans are desperate. The Minnesota factor, Anthony Edwards. As much as he wants to run away from the face of the NBA thing, people are trying to crown him it. He's an American. He's a young player who has shown up well in the last 2 playoffs. That's the Minnesota side of it. OKC, 60-win team. They're not going to be able to sign all those guys long term. They need to take advantage of the roster. And you want to know what Indiana is? The spoiler to ruin all of that. That's how I've kind of listed all 4 of these teams. Indiana is the ultimate spoiler to all 3 of those storylines. What's the storyline with Indiana?
They haven't won a championship.
But at the same time, no one wants to see Indiana win a championship. People, you can make the argument for OKC. You can make the argument for Ant. You can make the argument for New York. And I feel like at this point, the Pacers are playing the ultimate spoiler role. I think, to go back to the original question, I personally think dynasties are good. Look at Golden State. They won 73. They had a 73-win season. Durant comes, they win 2 more. As much as I hated that team, it was must-watch TV with Kevin Durant and those 3. LeBron James, if it was the big 3 in Miami, if it was him fizzling out in Cleveland the first time, if it was him going back to Cleveland and beating a said 70-win team, good for business. The Boston Celtics, the Larry Bird era, good for business. Showtime Lakers, good for business. The 3-peat Lakers in the early 2000s, great for business. And then how about the Spurs? How about the Greg Popovich ran Spurs, who kind of picked moments in specific decades of basketball to win championships? Colin, that is good for business. I'm not sure if this parity's, it's a fun watch for uber basketball fans like us. It's a great watch. I worry that the average fan is going to see teams like, oh, God, what? These teams, what are they doing here? I think the NBA needs a dynasty. They need someone chasing immortality. They're going to try to turn Anthony Edwards into that if they win. Oklahoma City and their great roster, the Knicks and that city. The NBA is rooting for the Knicks. The NBA is rooting for the Knicks. That's my 2 cents on it. Sorry to bring all of this stuff full circle and on the table, but with the teams left, that's what I think the storylines are. And I don't necessarily think parity, as much as it's been in the NBA, has been good for business.
Now, the one thing I'll say that I think you hit on, number one, is dynasties are good for business. If you don't believe so, you're wrong. Now, if you like dynasties, it's a different question. But for business side of it, the NBA was dwindling in the 70s when it was, the Supersonics and Dennis Johnson versus the Wes Unseld Washington Bullets and the Dave Cowan Celtics teams. The NBA was in a bad spot. The NBA was not filling buildings. That was a big problem. It wasn't until Magic and Bird got there, who, by the way, was the most watched college game of all time in that 1979 national championship. And it wasn't until they got there that it's kind of exploded into a countrywide phenomenon. Then fast forward to when Bird, Magic sort of on the tail end of his career, were a little over the Lakers. Bird's getting hurt in the late 80s. Nobody likes the Pistons. Then all of a sudden enter Jordan and the Bulls. Then the NBA becomes a global brand. And then Jordan leaves, and the NBA sort of is in a limbo, but then the Lakers are great. And then there's always something to follow. And then the NBA sort of goes through a little bit of a dry patch when you get the Pistons, the Spurs a couple times, the Mavericks snuck one in, the Miami Heat, that little period. And then, there was the Lakers and Celtics again. But it was really until LeBron went to Miami that next one was born.
That kind of uncertainty of dynasties, Colin, there are great players, though, throughout the league, too.
Absolutely.
Fantastic Hall of Fame players like Kobe, LeBron. Say what you want about Chris Paul. I understand he never won anything.
But great like Nash, like Jason Kidd.
Dirk.
That era was not defined by necessarily a dynasty. It was post-Lakers, pre-Lakers Heat. And what do you think about it when you think about that era? You think about a bunch of different champions, and it's sort of, the Spurs won this year, that's right. You can't discern that 2007 Spurs team from the 2003 Spurs team. So that's where it gets, I guess, dicey. It's good for business. That's the bottom line. So, but on the other side, I think that everybody and their mother was sick of Golden State's antics by the end of that dynasty.
Definitely.
We were all sick of the Warriors' dominance. And for lack of a better term, the NBA got a bit lucky that the Raptors were able to steal that championship because everybody got hurt on the Warriors, but people were dying for that to break up. It was too dominant. It wasn't interesting. And then you shift now into post-Warriors dynasty, into an era where it's hard to sign these Supermax players and keep rosters together. It's even harder to repeat because these teams are sort of one-year rentals, and then you got to make decisions on role players. The coaching cycle, the carousel is as short as ever, and now you got you're going to have 7 champions in 7 years. Now, as a basketball fan, I think this is a good thing. This is exactly what the NBA was looking for when everybody was begging for them to break up the Warriors. This was it. You weren't a fan of the Heat. You weren't a fan of the Warriors. What was your alternative? They were going to be there regardless. Even the Cavaliers, when LeBron was making it every year. We need parity. There's no competition. Now there is, and it's a problem because it doesn't sell. I view the ratings market. I have that perspective on it. My takeaway, though, is that, wow, we got parity. That's what we've been looking for, right? Now, the CBA might be, the way they pay players might be a little too hard to keep these teams together, and maybe they could fix that. But I think ultimately, it was a success. Isn't that what they were trying to do?
Yeah, and with the play-in tournament and stuff like that, I feel like they're trying to give more teams more opportunity to get better.
And misses, and it doesn't work every time.
But my sense on the play-in tournament was they're trying to get young teams involved in the playoff madness. Now, it turns out that the same suspects have been there in the Miami Heat and company, but the NBA has tried their damnness to, number one, get stars to stay in the cities they were drafted in. Colin, you're able to get more money with the team that drafted you comparatively to any other team in the NBA. I think that was them trying to get a little more parity in the league. Now, did it hurt regular season ratings? Probably. Did it hurt storylines in the regular season? Did the players kind of run away with the whole load management thing? Yes, but I think the playoffs have been a success. And my NBA question, I think the big question we have to ask ourselves right now is, what does the NBA want with the 4 teams left? And those were the 4 things that I came up with. They want the Knicks to win because they want the New York market. If they could spin the Anthony Edwards thing to him being the face of the league, and I know people hate that conversation, but it's a real thing. And then Oklahoma City, they could write home that, hey, they were the best team all year. They won 68 games.
Now, the one thing I'll say is if the Indiana gets there, I think people are going to be rooting for Indiana to win because they want to see they want to see the Titan fall.
They'll get behind the dog for sure.
They want to see the Titan fall.
And that's why I say, and what I have written down for Indiana was Indiana's spoiler to ruin it all. But bringing it full circle back to your conversation of dynasties and parities, I know we all hate it. But guess what? We all couldn't wait to watch the Warriors and see what happened. We all couldn't wait to watch LeBron and the Big Three if they were going to blow it again. Remember the first year they blew it to the Mavericks.
There was a story there, but the product didn't align.
Sure.
Now the product aligns and the story's not there.
Sure.
So it's
and the names, the teams, the big names. There's no LeBron.
Well, now, one thing I'll say, how about this as a fight back? Now, we know that LeBron, Curry, Durant, even like the Spurs teams, the Heat, all big names, big stories. Do you think it almost hurt the NBA that you had the usual suspects dominate the conversation for a 10-year period, then all of a sudden when LeBron is on his last legs, when Curry is not in the conference finals, and when Durant's not even in the postseason, I don't think they've been doing that this year. There's been a very good postseason, but in years past, they're kind of clawing for something to talk about. They're clawing for
definitely
a story. And it's because the usual suspects have dominated the end of seasons. I think this almost might work in a long-term effect in the NBA's favor to get a bunch of different names out there. People know Giannis. People root for Giannis. Giannis has won a title. People root for Jokic because Jokic has won a title. He's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of a sudden, you get Oklahoma City or Minnesota to win a title. The Knicks are here. The Celtics have won a champion. You got a bunch of different champions. Therefore, when they match up in the postseason, it's a little more interesting. This is a championship-coded team.
And they've relied on the stars, to your point, of Bron, Durant,
It's
Curry,
almost like
and company.
it's going to be LeBron or somebody doing it for the first time.
They knew that you knew the storyline going into the playoffs, and you knew how it was going to end. How many times did we see a LeBron and Curry finals?
Right.
For 6 years in a row?
That might have long-term effect hurt the NBA. But I think what they're looking at here is you're going to get two pretty high-quality, I think, pretty chippy and beefy series on either side. And I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
I would say, Colin, you and I are like 5% of NBA fans who really get into the meat and grinder, the meat and potatoes of it. We know the players, who know all the storylines. We are into this. And as we're both fans of small market teams, we get into the parity because it means our teams have a chance. I don't know. For the average fan, you know what I mean, Kyle? For the average fan, I don't know if this parity is good. That's my fight back.
I like
the
this.
average fan who turns on the game probably wants to see the big name of Laker and Boston. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this.
I don't know. I think
I
think the fan has adopted the new.
We're fine with this. We love this.
I'd be surprised. I think the casual NBA fan now. Oklahoma City, Indiana, a 5-game series. Let's just say that's not going to break any records. Let's call it.
And I've put, and for the first time ever, I've hitched my wagon to a New York team. I've hitched my wagon to the Knicks. I have. I like it. It's funny because we complained all year long how we hate that Tibbs is playing all these guys, whatever. I'm hitching my wagon to Thibodeau, and I'm hoping he gets a championship, and I hope those starving New York basketball fans are able to get it.
I think best case scenario for a story, I think Minnesota, New York would be the best one. There's storylines there with Thibodeau. There's storylines there with Karl-Anthony Towns and Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo.
Anthony Edwards.
Edwards versus New York. There's a bit of a back and forth there, too. A champion, a franchise that has never really had success trying to get their first title, and the Knicks, who act like they've never had a title before because nobody remembers the one in 1973. I think that one is probably best for the story. I think in terms of the best series, I think it'd be Indiana OKC, dare I say. I think that might be the most interesting basketball series, weirdly enough. Not a story.
No, you're right.
But it's in terms of two different teams matching up, the speed of Indiana versus sort of the defensive prowess of OKC, it'd be a threes fest. So I'm not sure if I love that. Maybe it's Minnesota, Indiana, but I think Indiana's fun enough to watch where I think any of the matchups are going to be pretty good.
Indiana will slap you in the mouth, too. That would be fun. Because they'd get in the face of Gilgeous. They'd make things tough for Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, and they
tell you that.
Yes,
Look what they did to Donovan Mitchell.
It'd be a threes barrage, but still, it would be. Be 55 threes each side.
Isn't that what the league is? The
yeah, but like Indiana OKC, that'd be a lot of threes.
I know, but the reason I'm laughing is that's basically what the league has turned into anyway, but I understand.
Right. So I think my favorite series in terms of if I'm rooting for a story, Knicks T-Wolves is the obvious candidate. But I think in terms of the better basketball, I think I'd rather watch Minnesota or Indiana or Indiana OKC. Now, OKC with the free throws.
You don't want to see the Knicks. From what I'm hearing, you're good on Knicks basketball, bro.
I am. Now, part of me wants to see them in the finals because I'm more intrigued. New York is, to me, a little bit more entertaining than the actual Knicks basketball team. New York City, after the wins and before the games, is way more entertaining than anything the Knicks do on the floor. And the Knicks are great closers, and Jalen Brunson is great. There's no doubt about that. They're good defensively. I think Thibodeau's overrated. He's kind of making me eat my words there, but I think he's wildly overrated. I just don't think they're that good. I really don't. I still don't think so. I think they played their best game of the postseason in Game 6 against the Celtics.
Right. So I refuse to give credit to Indiana, and you're refusing to give credit to New York.
No, I give credit to them. I give credit to them. They beat Boston fair and square, and they were going to beat them with or without Tatum. But I just don't think.
You think they're going to run out of gas?
I do. I think Indiana's going to beat them. I do.
Okay.
New York's got all the momentum, the run, maybe a little bit of the mojo. But I think Indiana's a better team. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe prove me wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
You know what Nick fan is thinking. If not this year, we're never. If we don't win it this year, we're never going to win this year.
To win a championship. And
correct.
This is not one of you, like you said, the luxury taxes where you could secede it because you drafted all these guys. The Knicks drafted none of these players.
Yep.
So these guys are all bought and paid for. So this is going to be a difficult thing to keep together in the long term.
They sold all the guys they drafted.
And Jalen Brunson did take a pay cut, but point being, 888-760-3776. Too much parity in the NBA. Now you're going to get a 7th champion in 7 years. 8 different franchises are going to win a championship since 2014. Comparatively to 1984 to 2014, where only 8 teams won championships in that period. You had the Pistons, Spurs, Bulls. You had the Lakers, Celtics, you name it. Mavericks stole one. Is it good or bad that we're now finally seeing a baseball-esque parody to the NBA? 888-760-3776. Is there something to the notion that ratings have not been nearly as great in the postseason for the NBA and for the MLB, and we haven't seen dynasties? You think there's anything to that? Let us know. 888-760-3776. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat doing a little 5 and 5 on the flip side. Stick around for it right here on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Mondays just got better for the men of Palm Beach County. Unlimited Auto Wash is offering $5 off any wash every Monday at all 6 convenient locations. Men's Monday at Unlimited Auto Wash. Don't miss it.
Introducing DQ Grill & Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill & Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill & Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit 1 checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
In South Florida, when it's time to get back in the game, there's a name you need to know. HSS Florida. HSS ranked number 1 in orthopedics for 15 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. HSS brings world-class care to Palm Beach and Wellington. Whether it's a joint replacement, sports injury, or orthopedic trauma, HSS Florida treats athletes of all ages. Visit hss.edu/Florida to schedule your consultation today. HSS Florida, where champions and everyday people alike get the care they need to stay at the top of their game.
Did you miss Theoretically Speaking?
The Thunder have the upper hand in Thunder v. Nuggets. By the way, Thunder Nuggets, it goes well together.
That sounds like a cartoon fast food order. Thunder Nuggets. And it's like rainbow chicken nuggets.
Yes, it actually sounds absolutely delicious. And this comes from a guy that does not like ordering nuggets. They say it's all chicken, but I don't necessarily trust it, so I don't order nuggets at any kind of fast food restaurant. But if they named it Thunder Nuggets, they might have your boy.
It's Theoretically Speaking, weekdays at 2, here on ESPN 106.3.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio-designed golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Get ready to elevate your driving experience with the all-new 2025 Range Rover Velar P250 Dynamic SE. A stunning blend of luxury performance and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $809 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $809 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Boy, if you need to pick me up in the morning, you just head on down to F45 West Palm Beach or down in Wellington to go get your workout on. F45, more the functional side of working out. 45-minute classes through the morning and the afternoon. You got 2 coaches on site, a bunch of like-minded fitness individuals around you. It's class style, so there's music playing. It's fun. Everybody's talking. But also you're getting a real good sweat in because it's more, not necessarily the Olympic lifts that you'll see at your local gym, but more so the sides of making sure you're flexible, making sure you're functional, making sure you're healthy, feeling good. That's what F45 has to offer. Go check them out today and get your first 3 classes for just $30. Or if you're training for something like High Rocks and you want to train for something like that, they accommodate that as well. Go check out their Instagram, F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Second hour here on the 19th of May, 2025 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. If you missed any of the program today, listen back on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, uploaded in full on podcast format, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X. 888-760-3776, number to get into the program. Kevin in Lake Worth, really quickly on Russo and Rizzo. Kev, what do you got for us? Welcome in.
Hey, guys. I kind of look at the parity issue as a twofold issue. First, I don't really want to hear the NBA media complaining about parity when it's their job to promote the game. When I signed up for ESPN Plus, I didn't hit the button to also sign up for Lakers Game Pass. So if I'm going to see the Lakers 70 times a year and only see the Pacers 2 times a year, and the Pacers are going to be in the NBA Finals and the Lakers aren't, that's not on ours. That's not the Pacers' issue. That's the NBA media's issue.
Good point.
So they need to fix that. And then the second thing is we kind of talk about it with the faces of the league. The faces of the league that we want them to be, they don't want it. And then the people who want to be the face of the league, they're not good enough to be it. And it kind of goes back to that Olympics where all the young guys that were on that team, they still relied on Steph, Durant, and LeBron to win them the gold. So everybody was talking about how great that moment is. I kind of looked at it as these guys aren't the answer for the NBA that the NBA wants them to be if they're still relying on 40-year-old LeBron James to win a gold medal.
It's a great point.
Good call, Kev. Appreciate you chiming in. And one thing that Kev's right is the best players are outside the Americas right now.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. The best players are not American.
Jokic, Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka,
Giannis,
yep.
they're not American. And there was a drop-off after the Steph, Durant, and LeBron because there was. Devin Booker was great at playing his position there, but Devin Booker is not going to be the best player on that team. Bam Adebayo, I know he's a Miami guy, was not going to be the best player on that team. Tyrese Halliburton was not going to be the best player on that team. Derek White was not going, and Drew Holiday were not going to be the best players on that team. They built a roster around those three. So that's what you get. Christian Catter, producer of today's program. How are you? What do you got for us?
I'm doing spectacular. Got 18 holes in. Played well.
You ever not get 18 holes in?
Yeah. If I play on the weekend with the twilight time where they put on 5-sums on the course where I can't finish in 6 hours, that's when I can't get 18 holes in.
5-sums?
Yeah.
Stop it.
People do it. They bend to the will of some people that pull up with more than they said they were coming with.
That sucks.
It was a good time today. I was happy to get all the holes in.
Okay. Let's bounce around a little bit. Let's have some fun. 5 at 5, Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Scottie Scheffler, in pretty non-dramatic fashion, won the PGA Championship over the weekend, his third major. Each of those majors won, both Masters and the PGA Championship, by 3 or more strokes. But I turn to the other side of things. Rory McIlroy was unable to cash in on his fans' hopes of a possible Grand Slam in one season by narrowly making the cut, finishing the tournament 3 over in a tie for 47th. Rory did not speak to the media after any of his lackluster rounds at Quail Hollow. Although pro golfers are not required to speak to the media, it's not like they're signed to any contracts. Should they be required to speak to the media after their rounds?
Here's the thing. If you're Rory McIlroy and you're coming off your first Masters, your Grand Slam, you're winning all 4, your Grand Slam, you're the biggest event of your life in the last major, and more importantly, the big story of you and your driver getting nicked drops, I believe, after the first round of the tournament, and you don't talk to the media one time, I can't take Rory seriously because Rory does this all the time. Rory didn't speak to the media after the second round of the Masters because when Rory wants to talk to the media, it's because everything is going well in Rory's life. When there is a negative connotation, whether with his play, with his driver, if he's not feeling it,
or his personal life,
he's a fair weather media guy. And that's why I can't take Mr. Rory media man, because it's only after the good, it's never after the bad. And that's when you actually learn something about somebody, is how they respond to the media after the bad. So that's why I cannot take Rory seriously when he never talks to the media. And not once all weekend, give me a break. And when you're maybe the biggest story coming in to the tournament and you don't speak to them once about how you're playing, how you're responding to the course, your driver's not going, you cannot use your driver. First one since the Masters, what are the nerves like? You didn't ask him any of this because we couldn't talk to him. That's why I was really disappointed in how Rory handled himself at the PGA Championship.
To answer your question, yeah, they should be required. If a reporter wants to talk to you or a TV network or whatever after your round, yeah.
They pay a boatload of money to cover the event.
Be required.
Yeah, you should talk to them if they want to talk to you.
I totally agree. And one thing you can't criticize LeBron James for, LeBron is always available for people to talk to him at his locker, after practice.
Always been great with the media.
And that is the biggest, arguably one of the biggest stars on the planet. Listen, you guys know I'm a Rory guy. Love Rory. I think he's the generational golfer of my lifetime outside of Tiger Woods. Talk to the media, Rory. My God. And to Colin's point, don't pick and choose. You look like an idiot.
Fair weather. He's a fair weather media aficionado.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Major League Baseball had their first crack at rivalry weekend as they coined it over the past couple of days. Some of the headlines are coming out of those weekend series. Soto's lackluster return to the Subway Series, Yankees-Mets. The Orioles fired their manager, Brandon Hyde, after the 15-28 start of the season. The Angels swept the Dodgers for the first time in 2010. What caught your eye from the weekend that was in baseball, if anything?
You know, for being such a good team, the thing I was watching the most was with the Subway Series. The thing I've noticed the most was, weirdly enough, the Yankees, especially the replacements, I know it was in Yankee Stadium, just as a team, much more juice, much more put together. It seemed like, I don't know if they're top to bottom better than the Mets, but I don't know. You don't get that vibe from Soto. Soto wasn't that killer that he usually is. He didn't have a good series. While on the other side of things, Bellinger had a great series. Goldschmidt had a great series. Devin Williams played very well. Fried is great. All the replacements played well. And for the Mets side of things, the Yankees just got a little bit more juice than them right now, and I think that was pretty apparent over the weekend. That was my takeaway.
I know they played the White Sox, but I think the Cubs are a real threat in the NL. I do. I think Pete Armstrong's one of the best players in baseball right now. Their pitching staff, they're about 5 deep, even without Justin Steele. Getting good performances from Colin Ray, getting good performances from Matt Boyd. Boyd has been unbelievable in Chicago.
Yeah,
and
that bullpen's going to really hurt them in the late part of the season.
It will.
They need to make mid-season acquisitions.
Listen, that's been the thorn in their side 2 years ago when they had Abraham Almonte coming out to close games. But I think it's the Cubbies. I'm buying into the lineup. The Kyle Tucker signing has been great. They
need to be active at that deadline.
They do for a bullpen. I agree. But I'll tell you what. Find me a more fun player in baseball right now than Pete Armstrong. You can't.
Number 3.
Couple of commitments were made to polarizing NFC leaders over the weekend. The 49ers signed Brock Purdy to a 5-year, $53 million per year deal. Moments ago, also, the 49ers did sign linebacker Fred Warner to a 3-year extension. He's the highest paid inside linebacker in NFL history. And then also in the NFC, the Eagles signed Nick Sirianni to a new multi-year extension following the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl win. My question for you, Mike and Colin, should the Eagles be the favorites in the NFC like they are right now on Hard Rock Bet? The numbers in front of me: Philly plus 300. Detroit plus 425, San Francisco plus 750, and Commanders plus 850.
Outside of losing depth, which you expected because they had a bunch of not the best players on the defense, but Milton Williams, for example, picking up big contracts elsewhere, do we have any other reason to look elsewhere than Philadelphia? They have everything kind of churning for them. I know they're losing their offensive coordinator, but Fangio's coming back. They are going to be great again, and probably for the foreseeable future, because they just got so much defensively, and they're still keeping that core together offensively. Now, are they going to have a little bit of post-Super Bowl syndrome where it takes them a little bit to get ready for these games? It's hard to win twice in a row, maybe. But I have a hard time putting a lot of hard-earned USD into a team not named the Eagles if I were to put one on the NFC.
Yeah, it has to be them. They just won a Super Bowl. They're returning a lot. There's
just more questions about other teams.
They lost depth, but the core is still there. The core of the defense, I could argue, is there. The core of the offense is still there. They're keeping Sirianni around. They didn't lose a lot on the coaching side either. Like Detroit, they lost all their coordinators. Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Is that going to bother? And even when they had their coordinators, they were unable to go to a Super Bowl. Colin, I filled in for Theo today on Theoretically Speaking. Both Christian and I subconsciously think Detroit has made a Super Bowl the last 2 years. We have to remind ourselves that they haven't been to anything. They've been to an NFC championship that they fumbled away 2 years ago, and last year Goff blew the game. And as far as the 49ers...
Goff was terrible, but they also gave up about 50 points in their building.
As far as the 49ers, they have an easy schedule, but they're older. Like, I love that they were able to lock down Brock Purdy. I actually think that was good comparatively to what I've been hearing other people say. But that team is older, and they've not been able to get the job done in the big game. It has to be the Eagles.
There's questions about the other teams. There's not as many about the Eagles.
I will say, the big bad wolf that the Eagles were supposed to have had conquered to make it out of the NFC
Wasn't
in
there.
both of their Super Bowl runs weren't necessarily there. They were there for one drive for the 49ers before Brock Purdy got hurt, and then you got Johnson at quarterback, Josh Johnson, I think, at quarterback doing nothing. Obviously, that game was moot point, and the same thing with the Lions never actually facing the Eagles in the playoffs.
Isn't that football, though? Like, even when the Eagles, let's rewind back to 2016, they lost Carson Wentz, who is the MVP candidate, right? And they were still able to find a way to win. So I understand the point completely, Christian. This all narrows back to Detroit not living up to expectations the 2 years they've been great.
They
Number 4.
gave up that 50-point burger to Washington in that game. I mean,
And Goff also threw like 4 picks.
Goff was
I
terrible,
understand.
and then the defense was terrible. Go ahead.
Number 4.
Let's stay in the NFC. Stay in the NFC East. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is insistent when he was speaking after the Kyler Murray celebrity softball game that there is no hierarchy between he and recent receiver acquisition George Pickens on the Cowboys.
Oh, no, we both ones. Yeah. It ain't no A, B, none of that. There's one. You look over there, you see one. You look over here, you see another one. So do what you got to do with that.
Is this going to work in Dallas?
I think he's going to, if barring health and barring he keeps his head on straight, I think he's going to play well for them. I think Dallas's biggest problems is not in wide receiver production. It is in quarterback health and defensive production. That is their real problem. I don't think that the difference making in whether Dallas is going to win 12 games versus win 7 games relies in if George Pickens is going to show up. I think it's going to be, can Dak Prescott give you 16, 17 games? And can that defense finally take steps forward and staying healthy and getting back to maybe that Dan Quinn defense from a couple of years ago? That would be the main takeaways, but I do think Dallas could be pretty good this year.
Dallas has been able to handle stars like Des Bryant and Michael Irvin. If there's a team to do it and to be able to handle Pickens and what he has to offer, I think it's them. Here's the thing. I don't think anyone handles Pickens. You deal with it, right? So do I think this is going to blow up in their face at some point this year? Absolutely. But I think the team is good enough to overcome it. Boys, I think Dallas could be one of the better teams in the NFC, to Colin's point, if Dak is healthy. I have 3 things here. Dak's injury status, is he going to be healthy? Consistency on defense and offensive line. Are they going to be able to establish any kind of run game this year? With no Dak Prescott last year, I felt like they were really missing a run game. The team won 7-8 games last year. They didn't have a run game, and Dak Prescott was injured. I think this team, we're talking about best teams in the NFC. The Cowboys, if healthy, barring injuries, could be better than said teams of the 49ers and the Lions. Let's wait and see, obviously. But they have the talent to do it.
Number 5.
Number 5.
A Michael Jordan jersey from the 92-93 season that was worn for 17 games sold at auction for over $2.6 million. This jersey was worn the Jordan year where they won the 3rd consecutive championship before it took a hiatus from baseball. If you could have one piece of sports memorabilia, what would it be? You can't resell it for the dollar value. You've got to only have it for the sentimental meaning.
You know, the one that pops into mind in terms of an important one, boxing gloves from a big Muhammad Ali fight would be pretty awesome. Or the puck on the Mike Eruzione game-winning goal against this Soviet Union in 1980. Those two, I'm not sure how you could prove the puck, but I think that would be a really fun one to have. Or, of course, like Muhammad Ali's gloves from like Rumble in the Jungle in 1976 against George Foreman, or like Joe Frazier, something like that. That would be a pretty cool one to have, you know, stowed away in the man cave.
Can I be a homer?
Well, that's the whole point.
Kyrie Irving Game 7 shoes where he hit the shot against the Warriors. LeBron James blue jersey fadeaway shot against the Bulls on Father's Day, Mother's Day, can't remember which one. Yeah, against the Bulls. Game 5 when they were,
It was game 4.
When they were down 2-1.
Yeah, they were down 2-1.
You guys might call me a phony for this because I said I wish it would never have happened, but the Rajay Davis bat, it's the best thing I can muster up for the guards. And then this is a fun one. The Paul Brown original helmet from the 40s when he was the Ohio State coach, when he invented the radio in the helmet to his quarterback.
That's a good one.
Those are what I would take as memorabilia.
I'm interested to see what Jonathan Zaslow has to say on this. I'm sure he's got something cooking up his sleeve in terms of the golden goose for sports memorabilia. I think it varies by person to person.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it. Jonathan Zaslow, the Zaslow Show 2.0, will join us next. We had a Game 7 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers last night, in which the Florida Panthers basically utterly dominated and took that one after dropping Game 6 in their building. But we'll get into that, get into a lot more. Stick around for it. Russo and Rizzo coming back with Jonathan Zaslow after this on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll, safety's the goal.
Raising Cane's invites you to grab life by the chicken fingers. So get out there. Be you. Do you. Embrace whatever makes you, you. All while enjoying Raising Cane's hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that secret recipe cane sauce that makes everything that much better.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Cane's is coming soon to Tamarack at University and Commercial.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Big news, West Palm Beach! Greenway Kia is rolling out the red carpet for our grand reopening, and you're invited! Right now, drive home in a new 2024 Kia Telluride, luxury, performance, and value, starting at just $38,998. No tariffs, just huge savings! Get incentives up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias. Got a trade-in? We need it! Any make, any model, any condition! We'll give you up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book value towards the purchase of any red tag Kia in stock. Worried about credit? Don't be! If you got a job bringing home $350 a week, we want to improve your credit today. So what are you waiting for? Come celebrate our grand reopening at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800 New Kias or visit GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KFA, stock number SG005991, MSRP $45,235, plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinance. Offers don't combine.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
She ain't gon' tie me down. Why you on the road? Got it on the shirt, saw the hat, saw the clothes. What you want right now? What up right now? I think you need to close your mouth.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
You know, the good news is that the conference finals are basically on the horizon here starting tomorrow. And you're going to have two good series on either side, both the NHL and the NBA. And plus, you get the MLB going on. You got a lot to look forward to. More importantly, you got a lot to sprinkle some action on with Hard Rock Bet. Go download the app today in the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, or go to hardrock.bet online to get started. Hard Rock's the best because it caters to both types of players. The brand new player who doesn't necessarily understand the ins and outs of a sports book, it's easy to get acclimated, it's easy to understand and learn. Or if you're the experienced player who wants to put together complicated parlays, wants to utilize different types of profit boosts, or want to utilize promos, Hard Rock Bet has you covered there. Both sides sort of connects both ends of the spectrum. That's why it's great, and that's why I love it. Best part is you get $100 back in bonus bets if and when your first bet does not hit, which can be a parlay, prop, over, you name it. They cover it. It's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms and conditions apply. Consider by gambling. Call 1-888. Admit Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Welcoming in a good friend of show, a big Panther fan who's probably excited that they knocked off the Toronto Maple Leafs last night in commanding fashion in Game 7. But that is the voice of the 305, Jonathan Zaslow.
You might know him as the Cooper City Rattlesnake. He's the human flamethrower of Miami sports radio.
Hey, you could be a maniac without being a jerk.
The preacher of the Pat Riley Gospel.
They don't complain. They don't make excuses. This is the NBA. Deal with it.
The mayor of Dolphins Delusion.
Can the Bills' offense keep up with the Dolphins' offense?
And the only guy who can go from breaking down the Panthers' power play to cutting a full-blown Ric Flair promo. Woo! Jonathan Zaslow is the voice of the 305.
Zaz, welcome in. You a happy camper after what you saw from the Florida Panthers last night?
What a time to be alive. I mean, come on. When you can go 26 years in between playoff wins with your favorite hockey team, and now you get to a place where going into Game 7 on the road, I know my team's going to win because I know how good they are, and I know that they show up in all of the big games over the last 3 years. What a time to be alive, guys.
After Game 6, let me get your thoughts on this really quick. I give the Maple Leafs a lot of credit. A very gutsy win, a shutout. They showed some guts there winning down in Sunrise, and it all amounted to nothing in Game 7. But what was your thought process after losing Game 6?
It was hard to understand what happened in Game 6. You know, that's not a game you would have figured they would have lost, especially coming after a 6-1 win, 3 straight wins after Game 5. So that stinks that they kind of laid an egg there. But man, going into Game 7, obviously I'm nervous, but I'm only nervous because, that's hockey. Something stupid can happen, but that really... See, the Leafs fans are going into the game last night, they're really hoping their team plays well. I know my team's going to play well going into Game 7. The only way they're not going to win is if something stupid happens, and you saw it just from the get-go. The first 8-9 minutes of the game, we're peppering them. Fact of the matter is, if not for Sergei Bobrovsky, the Panthers are probably down 2 or 3-0 at the end of the first period. So Bobrovsky did a tremendous job as there were several high-danger chances that the Leafs had in that first period, and then just the start of the second period on. They strangled them. They strangled them. They killed them dead. What a great night. 3 straight years now in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't take that for granted.
Zez, what are we going to be seeing from the Hurricanes as the Panthers Game 1 against them on Tuesday?
I think I'm supposed to be afraid of Fredrickson? I mean, come on. We're going to pepper him.
Yeah, I think they're going to kill him, too.
That's not a high-scoring offense, all right? Mikko Rantanen, who's killing it with the Dallas Stars, he wouldn't sign the extension with Carolina after they traded for him from Colorado this year. Rantanen was traded twice this year. So Carolina traded for him early in the year and then traded him at the deadline to Dallas because they couldn't come up with a contract extension. Rantanen likely didn't want to play there anymore. Like, that's not the type of offense that he was seeing himself succeeding in, going forward in the future. So what I'm trying to say is this is not a high-powered offense, Carolina. They play more of a slow style, and I think, New Jersey was probably the weakest team in the postseason. Carolina took care of them rather easily. And Washington, not to take anything away from the season that they had, but Washington doesn't play a playoff style. And what I mean by that is that's what the Panthers got stuck with a few years ago when they won the President's Trophy. It's that high-flying run-and-gun type of finesse offense that gets you smoked in the postseason. And we saw that with what Carolina just did to Washington. This is a completely different animal. I love the Panthers' chances against the Hurricanes.
That's a good point about Washington, too. It's a team that has generally been uneventful in the postseason for the entirety of Ovechkin's career. I don't think it's talked about enough other than that cup run. That singular cup run. They've done a whole lot of nothing outside of that. But, Zaz, one thing I want to bring up, too, lastly, on the NHL is that Maple Leafs. I mean, think about that. Game 5 and Game 7 were as bad of losses as you could possibly find if you're a Maple Leafs fan. And I remember during Game 5, at one of the intermission breaks, Messier and Subban were ripping the Maple Leafs to shreds. And they were saying this is pathetic. There's no energy. There has to be something that changes. And that was on Game 5. And then it happened again at home, Game 7. And this is for a new coach who had a good season and had a good start to this series. But that team was lifeless towards the end of it.
I don't know how much it is lifeless, because can you say a team in Game 5, it's a pathetic performance, they go on and then win the next game.
And then as gutsy of a win as you could find, and then you go back to your building. It's just very polarizing.
Right,
honestly.
So the point that I would make is, I think there's a team that's making you look lifeless. I think the Panthers are making you look like that, and that's how the Panthers are built, man, where over a 7-game series, you are going to feel them by the time you get to Game 7. They are going to wear you down, and I really think that's what wound up happening there last night.
Zaz, when you're watching the Panthers, whether in a watch party, at the building, outside, watch party, at a bar, what is your drink of choice?
Oh, let's talk about Yuengling. I mean, that's obviously a direction we're going in here, guys. America's oldest brewery and a proud sponsor of the Florida Panthers. Yuengling Traditional Lager, a beer that, like true legends, legends like Brad Marchand and Seth Jones, stands the test of time. Brewed by the same family for nearly 200 years, it's a crisp lager with a bold, smooth taste that is perfect for a Panther game day. Whether you're cheering from the stands at the arena or you're watching from your favorite bar, like I was at the Iceplex last week for Game 5, or maybe you're right here in the Zaslow Mansion. Yuengling is the taste of tradition. Yuengling, legends stand the test of time.
Zaz, what do you make of the storylines within the NBA? Obviously, you got the Knicks, a lot of the Pacers. I went through this with Colin, and I want to do the same with you. So I wrote down here, the NBA, the New York Knicks, the NBA wants them to win. Knicks fans are desperate. They're thinking, if not this year, when? Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, face of the NBA conversations. Oklahoma City, 60-win team, best team all year. And then you want to know what I have for Indiana? Spoiler. What are you looking forward to the most as we get to the conference semifinals here?
Well, I love what's happened now with the NBA. This is the 7th consecutive year that we are going to have a non-repeat champion. 7 straight years. That was the case once Denver got eliminated yesterday. It's unprecedented. It's never happened in the history of the NBA. 7 consecutive years, 7 brand new champions. And of these 4 teams remaining, because we're not going to give Oklahoma City that Seattle championship, they don't even claim the history of the Supersonics franchise. Of the 4 teams remaining right now, the New York Knicks are the only team that's ever won an NBA championship, and you got to go back to 1973. So I love essentially the new NBA where you have this parity. I mean, it's the one sport over all the years that you did not have any kind of parity. You have lots of repeat champions, back-to-back, 3 in a row, and going into the season as well, 2 or 3 teams have a chance. How much better is it now? You got these 4 teams. I mean, maybe you thought one of them, Oklahoma City, was going to be there in the Final Four. I think if you gave the NBA the truth serum, who would they love to have in the finals? obviously New York. Can you imagine if you get a New York-Minnesota NBA final? Those two teams made a blockbuster trade before the season started, and for it to work out for both of them where they could meet in the finals, that's a heck of a story.
Yeah, good story. I think that's the best story. I think Indiana is also in a great. I think people are forgetting that about them again because they've won uneventfully throughout the entire postseason, winning in 5 in both series. And then OKC, I think everybody wants to knock down the Titans, so there's something for every team there. And to your point, I think the parity is great. I think people were begging for Golden State to break up by the end of it. People were begging for Miami to break up by the end of it. Now, storylines of dynasties sell, but I think the fact that basketball is now in this era where they're sort of a king of the hill and everybody has their own little 20 minutes of fame, I think that adds to the allure that when we finally do get the next repeat champion, it's going to be all that more impressive, the fact that they're able to do it almost in this climate.
Yeah, I don't think it matters so much to have the big bad, where they win a couple championships in a row and you have this villain that everybody could root against, because the NBA, and this has been the case for a while now, it's a league that the players are highlighted. The players are the stars as opposed to the team. And so as long as you have the big-time players that are in the mix, all right, you got those huge names, which, by the way, look at all 4 of these teams remaining. You want to talk about a shift from the old guard to the new guard. Brunson, Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. These are literally the new faces of the league moving forward. I think it's a very good thing for the NBA right now.
And it's good because we brought this up earlier, too, because almost when you get force-fed too much LeBron, Curry, Durant, Kawhi Leonard, then all of a sudden when they don't have them there, I think the NBA kind of had to go through a bit of an adjustment period where, all right, we don't have our big 4 stars here. We're kind of grasping for something, but now you get different stars that are going to be highlighted. Giannis Antetokounmpo had his moment. Nikola Jokic had his moment.
Yep.
Kawhi had his moment with the Raptors.
Yep.
You got LeBron, of course, we saw that with Curry as well, but the Celtics had their moment. Now you're going to have somebody else have their moment. I think it expands the horizon of the league. It expands what people will care about because it is expanding what people are watching, therefore making the league better.
And for anyone who bemoans, what we're talking about, where you want to have the high-profile team or you want to have the old guard player there, you can't argue. And I'll be the first one to tell you, if the NBA deserves criticism, I'll be right there at the front of the line. All right, I think there's a lot of things the NBA does wrong and the player does wrong. But this year's NBA playoffs have been nothing short of fantastic. I mean, yesterday's Game 7 aside, obviously, was
the Game 7s haven't been good. But
all the big games, really, in all sports for that
Denver
matter.
Denver and the Clippers wasn't good. Houston and the Rockets and Warriors wasn't good, and then last night wasn't good.
But even like New York and Boston, which was obviously not a good game on Friday night, you were still into it because it was a scene. I mean, it was a party from start to finish there in New York. So at least that was still captivating. NBA playoffs have been fantastic this year.
Now, Zaz, are dynasties good for business?
They usually are. Yeah.
And it was surprising to hear that come from you as a Heat fan, Zaz, because there was no parity for a long time with LeBron James sitting there in the Eastern Conference with the Heat.
I know, but I hated that. I hated that about the NBA, because it's not just that you have a team that's winning 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row, or like the Cavaliers where they were in the finals 4 straight years, after the Heat made it 4 straight years. But it's when you go into the season, when the season's about to start, and you could pinpoint 3 teams that have a chance, and that's it. That's awful. And we are those days, and a lot of it has to do with the CBA, and the way teams get broken up. You're going to see it with the Celtics this offseason. It seems like we are past those days where you can only pinpoint 2 or 3 teams that have a chance. You got a bunch of teams that have a chance.
Jonathan Zaslow, of course, joining us from the Zaslow Show 2.0. Zaz, you mentioned multiple teams got a chance. Who is your leader in the clubhouse at the moment?
I think New York is going to win this series. I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a long series. I think New York wins it. I think the home court is a big deal for them there. Remember, they did, I will point out, Indiana won a Game 7 at the Garden last year. All right. I think this is going to be a long series. I like New York. On the other side, I think it's Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, they showed me something this round against Denver. That Game 4 win on the road, down 2-1. You need these type of notches on your belt, all right, when you're on your way to a championship.
Ugly game, too.
They won, and they held Denver to 87 points that game, all right? So they win Game 4. It was a must-win game for them. And then Game 7, an absolute no-doubter. They showed me something this round. That looked like a team that is ready to get to the NBA Finals. So I like New York. I like Oklahoma City. That would be a heck of a series.
And who would you have?
Talk about contrasting styles, right? Those two
who would
teams.
be your champion in that sense?
Oklahoma City.
Yeah. You think it'll be Oklahoma?
It's tough at this point to
knock down the Titan. Yeah.
It's tough at this point to believe that Oklahoma City's not the team. Knicks are a great story. Knicks getting to the finals would be unbelievable. I feel like it's Oklahoma City's year right now. They won 6. We forget, guys. They won 68 games. 68 games in the regular season, all right? So while they didn't have much of a test in the first round, Memphis, Denver is certainly a test, and now they're getting a big one, in Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. I like Oklahoma City.
Zaz, what about New York fans throwing trash at the Pacer guy?
It sucks. You know what? It was not just throwing the trash at the Pacer fan, who, if you saw McAfee this morning, they tracked down the Pacer fan, and Halliburton is sending him to a game. That's awesome. You love that. But it's not like everyone's watching, and I think for the most part people are happy for the Knicks fan, even though super obnoxious. You're happy for him because it's been so long, but then you get videos like that, and you get videos like where someone threw like garbage at Brian Windhorst walking away too. Like,
right.
What are we doing?
Here's Zaz, two things there. Number one, crazy to me that Knick fan and New Yorker just has random trash bags hiding in their inventory on their person. Number two, these kids had a real issue with the Pacer guy. I'll let Colin kind of explain.
Well, my thought process is anybody who's been to New York City knows that if it's a Celtics-Knicks game and you're going in with the future opponent's jersey, what do you expect? No trouble? I think this would happen at any sporting event. Maybe not throwing trash, but I mean, if a guy walked into the Panthers Maple Leafs, Game 6 or whatever, and then he had a Carolina Hurricanes jersey.
And the guy was by himself,
Yeah,
too.
the guy was by himself. That guy's you're asking for it. That's the only reason you're doing that. So I'm not necessarily saying that what the Knicks fan did was right, but I'm saying I can't necessarily sympathize for the guy because you didn't put that on not expecting something to happen to you.
If you're going into hostile territory, you got to have your head on a swivel, guys.
Yeah, you can't.
You got to make sure. And if anybody says something to you, you don't talk back.
No.
You gotta. I'm not saying the Pacer fan did that. You have to mind your business. Like and you're walking into the Garden there. That's obviously enemy territory. You gotta have your head on a swivel.
Zaz, dude, can I have the bag of trash you have on you? I left mine at home. Bro.
Zaz, where can people tune in more to you if they want to listen?
Zaslow Show 2.0, wherever you get your podcast, just search right there, like, rate, comment, do all that good stuff. I love you a long time. We cover everything 305, everything Miami sports, and anything big that's going on nationally. And every episode of Zaslow Show 2.0 is presented by Anajar and Levine. Accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE. You're involved in an accident, you're dealing with a personal injury, they will get you the compensation you deserve. They have a specific set of skills. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733.
Zaz, appreciate it as always. Enjoy the rest of the week. Looking forward to talking again soon.
Good job, guys. See you next week.
That's Jonathan Zazzo, of course, at the Zazzo Show 2.0. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat with you. We got to do a little temperature check with John C. Cassidy on the flip side. Close out the program on a Monday edition right here on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Start the summer at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium for a fun and jam-packed Memorial Day weekend. Friday, May 23rd is a Dog Day Friday at 6:30 p.m. Saturday, May 24th is Hometown Heroes Night, presented by Gordon and Partners with post-game fireworks as we honor all military members, first responders, and local heroes. Sunday, May 25th, all fans can enjoy discounted $10 tickets. Stop by the ticket office to purchase your tickets or go to RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat with you on ESPN 106.3. You know, we've had a packed weekend. You had a little golf, you had a little NHL, you had a little NBA. I think it's time for us to determine who was good under the heat of the moment and the heat of the pressure. Let's do a little John C. Cassidy temperature check right now.
Keep your cool. This is the Temperature Check.
Mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 80s.
Presented by John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing, keeping Palm Beach County cool since 1960.
Plenty of sunshine today with seasonal temperatures. We should recharge.
All right, so our John C. Cassidy temperature check, of course, presented by our pals over at John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Visit CassidyAC.com for more information. We're going to go around the table a little bit, and if you got somebody who was not operating properly in the heat of the moment, because with the Florida temperatures rising, you got to be able to keep your cool in the heat of the moment. Mine, I got to give it to the Florida Panthers there. I thought the Florida Panthers, that was a very gutsy win by Toronto, winning Game 6. I thought maybe this team garnered a little bit of momentum going into Game 7 in their building. Boy, was I wrong. Jonathan Zazzo said it. They suffocate you. And that's exactly what Florida did. They didn't necessarily give up anything offensively, and then it was just sort of a waiting game. Because I thought Toronto applied a little bit of pressure in that first period, and then all of a sudden, when they started to score, they had 3 goals in the span of 6 minutes, and the game was over. And that was it. But that is my team, the Florida Panthers, keeping their cool.
My team is Christian's baseball team, the New York Yankees, man, with Juan Soto coming back with the Subway Series. Colin alluded to it earlier, but all their role players, they were able to sign in that offseason. The Max Frieds of the world, Cody Bellinger, who, kind of had that slow start in the beginning.
He's playing a lot better.
He really is turning around, and that grand slam really put things out of commission for the Mets on that Sunday Night Baseball. Paul Goldschmidt had an RBI single as well. I thought the Yankees were fantastic in the Subway Series. They kept their cool for me over the weekend, Kyle.
Yeah, Boston didn't keep their cool. Good God, could you give us a game?
Pick. That was a bad pick on our part.
Give us a game.
Listen,
keep it within single digits in the fourth quarter and stretch it out, but it was over before it began. The Boston Celtics did not keep their cool.
I told you, boy, this Friday, I'm picking the NBA. I am picking the NBA game this Friday.
Is it almost a disservice to say Scotty? Is that almost a given that Scotty Scheffler was great under the heat of the moment?
You can set your watch to him keeping his cool.
Yeah.
So saying he kept his cool is like saying the sky is blue.
Right. It's just the most given thing in the entire world. And I thought that Rom would apply a little bit of pressure. Then Rom collapsed towards the end of his round. But Scotty, timely. He's a timely player. When he needs to get a birdie, when he needs to stay put, when he needs to avoid a collapse, that's just what he does. He does exactly what it takes to win. He doesn't try to wow anybody, but he's just consistent and timely. And I think that's the biggest testament to his game. That's another one who I thought did a great job. Mike, who did?
I'm going to go with the live guys. And maybe, Christian's our golf. He's got the golf bug. He's our golf guru. But Colin, yet again, the live guys just not able to get a major. I mean, and maybe it's me playing too much stock into the whole these guys can't complete a weekend. Famously, it is what the live guys go 3 days. That's
Rom was a mess in those last 3 holes.
And then DeChambeau too. Christian mentioned during Theoretically Speaking, you can listen 2 to 4 here on ESPN 106.3. DeChambeau was horrible in the Green Mile at Quail Hollow. So, I'm sorry, I got to go with the live guys again. It looked like you were going to get a live champion at the PGA, but Scotty was the one who kept his cool, not the live guys.
I don't want to hear it. You're comparing these guys against Jordan. Bryson DeChambeau has been fantastic. He's top 5 in or tied for 5th in the Masters, tied for 2nd in the PGA. Last year, won the U.S. Open, 2nd in the PGA, tied for 6th in the Masters. All while being with Liv. John Rahm had a couple of bad bounces and not go his way.
He ain't going anywhere.
And a couple of putts
listen,
lip out. The Liv guys are okay.
I understand that, Christian, but that Jordan, he ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
He ain't going anywhere.
That was our John C. Cassidy temperature check. CassidyAC.com for more information. Let's make a couple picks here. Christian and I remarked that we took, Celtics +3 last Friday.
Yeah,
we got burned.
We were trying to make a whole lot of dough. Puts in the book with a parlay, and we fought. It was 2 versus 1. Me and Russo wanted the Celtics. Rizzo was adamant he wanted the Knicks, but he lost the numbers game.
It was such a bad. The thing is, I root with what I want to see. I root with what I want to see.
That was a miserable bet.
I want to see Game 7, so I root for the Celtics.
That's fine.
And I was dead wrong.
And now tonight's going to be tough, boys, because I don't have NBA to bet. True Sharps are coming out tonight.
All right, let's do a little Let's Go Streaking with Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure!
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run. 22 consecutive wins.
And feed the cooler.
Everything he touched turned to mush. He would go to the racetrack, and the teller would give him his tickets already ripped out.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Let's Go Streaking Hard Rock Bet, where Mike, Christian, and I are going to try to put together a little bit of momentum, either positively or negatively. You're trying to stack wins and or losses. That's the goal. That's what we do when we Let's Go Streak with Hard Rock Bet. Mine, Dallas Wings taking on the Seattle Storm today in some WNBA basketball, 8 p.m. tip. Paige Beckers. They're getting plus points tonight. Give me Paige Beckers and company. Dallas Wings +3.5. Lock it in. That's my pick for tonight.
I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox +115 at home versus the Mets tonight. Red Sox not necessarily playing their best baseball. New York Mets not necessarily playing their best baseball either. I'm going to go with the home team +115 with the Sox tonight.
Going to the table. The table tennis, if you would, because the Table Tennis Cup is going on right now, and I'm loving this +100. Even money for Vladimir Lipovicki. Come on, Vlad. Bring it home. Bring down Marek Tamel.
What time does that start?
Starts in 6 minutes. So rush. Pull over if you're driving.
Yeah, you know where that's taking place?
It's taking place. No, I don't.
You don't. All right, that's fair. So
some
undisclosed
random
location.
bar in Russia.
Yeah.
Random bar in Russia.
You think table tennis is a Russian game?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
It's more Chinese.
Is it?
Yeah, that's where Forrest Gump was playing, right? In Forrest Gump?
Asia. Yeah, China, I think he was playing there. I don't know. We have to double check. But that's Christian Cat. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo. That was us. Let's go streaking. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you missed any of the program today, go listen back at Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or watch back on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X, where we stream in full. Then we want to say so long. We'll be back at it this time tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. It's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.